Thanks very much for joining us again on this website. And this is looking at the Christian wholeness framework used in small groups. I'm Dr. John Warlow, and I found the framework about 25 years ago, and with others now developing it for the use, particularly of ministry in terms of the growth of the church. And with me I have Erica, who's a friend of ours and also who's in our small group. Hi, Erica.
Hello.
Hi. And this is just going to be a small video just to give a taster of the use of the Christian wholeness framework in small groups. Erica, thanks for coming, and we've been in a small group together and just wonder from your point of view how you found the use of the framework in the small group setting.
Well, I've been in quite a few different small groups that have been managed and conducted in different ways, but using the framework has been really useful because it gives you a set of steps or a set of guidelines that you can actually use week by week rather than just feeling your way along or taking studies at random and doing different things. This gives you a way of looking at things that is the same week by week.
Okay. So, does that get a bit boring, or if it's the same every week, or what are your thoughts about that?
No, because there's so many different situations to which it applies.
Okay.
And there are a number of different aspects to the framework.
Okay.
So there's different parts of your life, different situations, different situations in the home group itself, in the small group itself that you can apply them to.
Yeah. So in terms of the small group then, just briefly, what are your thoughts about the use of some of the steps and some of the shapes in the small group context?
Well, starting off with the steps to help you to grow a relationship with each other. Yeah. So it just gives you a method of being able to connect with each other, learn to understand each other, and also a way of evaluating how you're doing with that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't really know. You might have a nice feeling that's happening, but these help you to actually see, well, yes, am I actually doing this?
Yeah.
You can turn it back to look at yourself and see how you're doing.
We try and do that, don't we, a little bit? We're in the small group. In terms of the shapes, what do you think are the most helpful shapes in the context, again, of a small group?
I like the triangle. Yeah. It's talking about with you and God and others. Yeah. Actually, is that right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Cut that bit out.
Oh, keep it in.
Yeah. So it helps you to see how you all relate together. The church as a whole is important. But the others that you deal with are important. And how God is at the centre of that.
Yes.
So when you meet together, you're looking as you're joining with each other, you're looking at how am I doing with this? Is God involved in what we're doing? Are we just meeting to have a bit of food together, or are we really connecting? As the triangle would say that we are. So it's a good measure.
It's a good measure, isn't it? And then we tend to use the circles for looking at the depth of relationship. Any comment on the circles in terms of small group there?
Well, I think the circles give you a way of looking at things that you wouldn't perhaps normally consider. There's quite a number of different areas that they bring in to focus. So you can look at that and say, well, how am I performing at that level? And then how am I doing at this level? How deep am I really going? Okay. So it gives you, again, a measure of where you might actually be in each situation.
And it really, for me, it really responds to the question of who am I and how am I and how are people in a small group going? And then the square, any thoughts about that? The self-centered, God-centered, above the water level, below the water level side of things?
I love that one.
What do you like about that?
I really like it because you can apply it to any situation that you find yourself in. Yeah. So let's say, for instance, when you come together in a small group and somebody does ask you that question, how are you? Where are you? Yeah. And that square can show you where you are. You think, am I really God-centered in what I'm doing? If I'm having a difficult time, is it because I've come away from that God-centeredness, or is it because it's godly suffering? It makes it easier to actually gauge where you are. as you're going through life.
Yeah, it does respond to that question, doesn't it, where you are. And then finally, the pyramid, which for me responds to the question, who am I with? Any comments on that in terms of its use? And
Yeah, well, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
I think they're all good, but this is good because I've found that with practice in my own life that having that really strong foundation that the pyramid gives you of having that support around you is just really, really useful. If you take one of those sides away, then things aren't as great as they could be. It's not that things can't be good with just having this, one section of support, but when you actually put them all together, it gives you a much more solid basis from which to live your life. So I like it.
That's great. And I think, one of the aims we have for a small group, isn't it, Erica, that we become servant leaders so that, and you are so good at this anyway, it's your natural place, is to be on the outside of the pyramid, serving other people, and whether it's in the family or friends or indeed in the small group. And I know that you're so familiar with being on the outside there. Any comments on that as we finish?
I think everybody's probably got a place there that they're more comfortable with.
Yeah.
And what the pyramid does is say that there's other parts that you actually need to consider as well. Not just the strengths that you have, but also the other parts of your life that you need to strengthen.
Such as?
Well, engaging other help.
Yeah.
Some people are very good at going off and trying to do everything themselves. And don't ever think of engaging other help until things go wrong.
Yeah.
Whereas other people are very good at getting support teams around them, perhaps not so good at servant leading. So
and it's that balance, isn't it, of support and service, that we don't have so much support that we just get fat and do nothing, nor do you do so much service without that support and just burn out in the process.
That's right, yeah.
Hey, fantastic, Erica. Thanks so much for being with us. Hope you've enjoyed this little video clip, a bit longer, but I think it really encapsulates a lot of what the framework is in terms of its application in the context of the small group. Thanks very much for joining us, and please watch the next one, which maybe expands a little bit more on this. Thanks. Bye.